Mode.
Hey everyone, it's Gregory Ortiz here. If you can hear me, can you please just give me a one into the chat box? Okay, perfect. I see a flood of ones coming in, so that's great. Happy to hear everyone here is able to see me. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to jump into our Facebook group just to let everyone know it's starting in case anyone missed it and they want to get in on this one. This is going to be a very, very good one. I'm happy to have a good friend of mine on. So just give me 1 second. I'm going to pause my screen. Going to throw it into the Facebook group, letting everyone know. Just 1 second. All right, perfect. I just announced it in the group, so hopefully anyone that isn't on right now will actually just jump on in. So like I said, I'm very excited. Pretty much for most of the webinars that you guys have had with me, just in case anyone here is new, I'm Gregory Ortiz. And pretty much the way most of my webinars go, I do a lot of Q&A because I know there's a lot of questions that you may have of some of the videos you watch and just things overall in general since SEO is changing all the time. So pretty much the first half an hour, so from right now, from 8 Eastern to 8:30 Eastern, it's going to be me doing a Q&A. So any questions you guys have about anything, whether it's, SEO, online money getting, whatever it might be, as long as I can answer the question, which is most things, I'll be more than happy to answer it. Whatever I do not know the answer for, I'm more than happy to get the answer for you and let you know at a later time. So don't worry about it. If you do ask any questions though, that we cover in depth in the videos, just please be known I'm not being rude. I'm just telling you that, hey, go check the video. Because if we cover something half an hour or more in a video, I'm not going to go over it here because it's not fair to everyone else who's actually watched those videos in the first place. Okay. For the second half an hour from 8:30 Eastern on, I'm going to have a good friend of mine named Derek Owaziak, and he's actually a huge SEO ninja. He knows so many secret tips and tricks and so many things that are mind blowing to me and most people I know. He happens to be good friends with myself, Cotton, Greg Morrison, a whole bunch of people that you guys are familiar with as far as names go. He's very very close to us. He knows a lot of very very neat and cool things. So he'll be showing you guys some of that stuff, which I'm super excited about. As a matter of fact, I believe he just joined us right now. So let me just move him up. Just give me 1 second. Okay, perfect. And Derek, are you there by chance? Okay. Um, there we go. Hey, Derek, how are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. How are you?
Good. I didn't even know I was live, so doing
Awesome.
great. So,
Good.
how are you?
I'm great, thank you. So I was just letting everyone know I'm more than happy to have you and honored to have you as my guest here in today's webinar. I just let everyone know kind of the workflow of what's going to go on. So for the first half an hour, I'm going to do Q&A of anything everyone may have. And from 8:30 on, it's completely yours. You're going to show a whole bunch of amazing ninja stuff. You're going to go over a bunch of different training as well. So everyone is really excited about it as well.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
sounds good.
Awesome. So Derek, for right now, I'm going to mute you while the Q&A is going on. And then as soon as everything's ready, I'll unmute you. Obviously, of course, if you want to unmute yourself, you're more than welcome to as well. Okay. All
All right.
right, great. All right, everyone. So, like I said, first half an hour is going to be Q&A. So, any questions you guys have at all, please feel free to just start throwing them into the chat box. I see there's already some in there. So, I will continue to answer them up until we hit 8:30 Eastern. So, whatever questions I don't get to at that point, I apologize. But Derek has some amazing stuff to show you, which I'm sure will more than make up for me not answering whatever questions you may have that I didn't get to. Okay. So, now we're going to go to these. All right. So the first question is from Dan. Dan is asking, how important is a VPN for building PBNs? So if anyone's not familiar with a VPN, he's pretty much talking about a service such as Hide My Ass, where it's a virtual private network. Pretty much what it does is it allows you to change your location on where you are and pretty much what IP you use. So let me just double check you guys. I can actually see my screen because I don't remember. Here we go. Okay. Can you just throw a one in the chat box again if you can see my screen now? You should see google.com. Just want to make sure you guys are able to see it. Okay, great. Looks like everyone is able to see my screen. Great. So pretty much, I personally have one right here. You see it's HMA, hide my ass. I do use it, but I use it a little bit differently than maybe most other people do use it. I don't use it necessarily to build PBNs, simply because Google already knows all of the different IPs that come from Hide My Ass. It could be helpful, but I don't use it for that. What I mainly use it for is, let's say I have a local client and they happen to be in, I don't know, let's say Portland. I obviously don't live in Portland, as you all know. I live in New York City. So if I want to see what their rankings look like locally in Portland, I'll jump on the Portland Virtual Private Network. So that way in Google, when I go to it, it looks as though I'm checking Google from Portland. That way I'm able to see what the rankings look like to the actual client themselves. So for that regard, I use it. For PBNs, not so much. I know there are some people who do use it for that, but I personally don't. So hopefully that answers your question, Dan. Okay. Great. Um, okay, Mike Anderson. I have been reading that we should ignore trust flow from now on. Any truth to that? Okay, this is a big question that I myself had like 2 days ago. Pretty much, from my understanding, Majestic kind of refreshed their algorithm, I guess you could say. So a lot of people have seen some drops in trust flow, but then again, today a lot of people reported that their trust flow went back up. So it could be a thing where Majestic is kind of playing around with things. I personally like to always wait about a week for things to kind of fluctuate and see what happens. So for right now, you can still go by trust flow, but don't go by that solely. I mean, it's kind of like we've always taught. Trust flow is a great factor, but it's not the only one. You have to remember, at the end of the day, Google doesn't go by what Majestic says. Google goes by what Google believes. So because of that, TrustFlow is one of the tools that we can use to gauge stuff, but it isn't the only tool that you should be using. So, make sure you use TrustFlow, make sure you're using DA and PA and everything else that you've learned. TrustFlow shouldn't be the only constant factor. It's very important, but it is not the only one. Because just as I said before, we don't know Google's algorithm, so we can't go by that specifically. But it is a good signal of how healthy a site may or may not be, simply because it's not as easy to quote unquote game as, let's say, DA or PA might be. Okay? Hopefully that answers your question, Mike. Let me see, Mac. How often do you use expired domains instead of auction domains for PBNs? Is there a really big difference in power? I'm working on a budget. Can I rank with just expired domains? Mac, it totally depends on your competition. If you're going to have really low competition, absolutely. If your competition is going to be something where it's going to be much more difficult, like let's say you're going after, a dentist in New York City, then you're going to need a ton of them to even make any kind of dent whatsoever. Hopefully that answers your question there. Ian, have you tried foreign SEO before? Ian, yes, I have. I enjoy it very much, and I have tried foreign SEO. It's a little bit different, but I have tried it. James, can you do a frequently asked questions section since most questions asked are the same? James, it's a good idea. However, no. Simply because, to be honest with you, I've seen before people have tried that and no one ever reads the frequently asked questions. I mean, it's kind of aggravating and frustrating, but people are more inclined to ask a question when they're live on something than to read through pages and pages of frequently asked questions. Now, frequently asked questions to me are more about a product that you purchase, that maybe there's like 3 or 4 frequently asked questions, not so much when it comes to SEO. Plus, things change so often in SEO, I wouldn't want to create a frequently asked question section in there, because then I'd be updating it all the time along with Steven and Becker. Okay. John R. For a brand new site, how often should you build PBN links? I usually do 2 to 3 a week. Is that a good pace? John, as long as you're keeping it random, I'm a huge fan of everything being random. So doing 2 to 3 a week may be okay, but you may want to mix it up. Like, don't do 2 to 3 a week every single week. That's forming a pattern. Maybe one week do 1, another week do 4, another week do 2. Just keep it random as possible, and then you'll be in a good fit. As far as a good pace, you have to keep link velocity in mind. So you also need to remember what anchor text that you are going to be using. So you don't want to over optimize too quickly as well. If you're using it to diversify, you're fine. But there's no like set amount that you should be necessarily, pushing out your PBN links. Okay. All right. And let's move on to the next one. Okay, just give me 1 second. It's loading up right now. Okay. Here we go. Ian, if you can't afford a specific product that Ian is mentioning, and you don't want to stalk the auctions for a nice PBN, how would you suggest people obtaining PBNs? Ian, in case you are not aware, I personally do sell PBNs to most people here in Source University and OMG and other places too, so you don't have to go through the entire auction process. And in case you are not aware of it, it's in the files section of the Facebook group, but I will open it up for you here. Okay, it's a noinvitation.com. That's where you can buy PBNs directly from myself. Okay, I won't go too much into it, but just take a look at it and you will see. Okay. Alex, when it comes to buying an expired domain, what would you be more willing to compromise on? Metrics in favor of topical relevance or the other way around? I mean, you're definitely going to want to try to get both. You shouldn't really want to skimp out on one versus the other. So try to get both. I mean, if I had to choose between the two, I'd rather have metrics, simply because topical relevance, I can kind of try to sway it to be a specific topic, whereas the metrics, I really won't be able to do too much myself, at least not easily. Okay. All right, next one. Let's see what we got here. Excuse me. Marlon, I've only been doing this for a couple of months and have 5 PBNs on health. I have them all hosted in my one HostGator account. Can that leave a footprint? Yes, it absolutely can, just because they're all on the same HostGator account, which means they're all on a shared account, which means they all have the same IP. That doesn't necessarily mean Google's going to go after you because it's just 5, but you're better off spreading them out amongst other hosts, just so you're aware. Okay. Kathleen, I have some PBNs I bought 6 months ago. I have not done anything with them at all yet. If I finally put them up now, is there anything special I need to do with them? They're still at Namecheap. Will this be worth using at this point? Yeah, they're definitely still worth using at this point. Just make sure that they still have some good metrics behind them and that they're indexed and everything. If you shouldn't really sit on something that long, but if you had to, you had no other choice. So pretty much what I would do is I would at least get a post up with a relevant YouTube video to whatever topic you want that site to be about. So in your case, it'd be health. And at least do that and install Google XML video sitemaps like I teach you guys in the training. And just ping it in Google just so Google at least has that index. That way it stays indexed. Okay? All right. Let's see, next question. Kurt, to answer your question, there isn't one right now. There may be one created, but not at the moment, no. Michael, is there a workaround for using the local SEO listing places without using my address? Just a company phone, opening an office in 4+ months, but for now working from home. Should I try to do local SEO for myself through those listing sites or wait until I have a real office? To be honest with you, Michael, this is an excellent question to ask Stephen Floyd. He is way more skilled than I am when it comes to this specifically. He also is for most other things, but for this specifically, you should ask Stephen Floyd. So I recommend just posting it in the Facebook group and tagging him in it. He'll be able to answer it for you, okay? Jim, have you heard of... Okay, Jim is mentioning a specific host if I've heard of them. No, I have not heard of them. Jim, you are asking, though, which hosting for PBNs do I recommend? I recommend you kind of spread them out, but if you want to have them on one host, it's in your files area in the Facebook group, but I'll type it in here to you guys as well. Okay. There you go. And use the coupon code Gregory for 10% off lifetime. Okay. The vendor actually created a coupon code using my name because I informed him I'd be recommending it to you guys because I personally use it. So he hooked everyone up with a coupon code just for using my name. You guys will get 10% off lifetime. Okay. Okay, Ian. SEMrush and Ahrefs just released a few of their own versions of ranking links based on quality. Do you think we should use these metrics the same as DA and TrustFlow? Ahrefs has always had it. They've always had what they value to be great and not so great. I personally am not very familiar with it. I've always kind of used TrustFlow, CitationFlow myself, and DA and PA. As SEO progresses, things always change, obviously. So the more I know about it and the more I hear from my friends who know a little bit more about me, who know a little bit more about SEO, or who have used those specific products, I'll be more than happy to report it back to you guys. But as of right now, I'm just sticking with what I know, okay? But if you see any good results with it, Ian, feel free to share it with us, okay? Jason, is there a video coming about how to rank multiple locations in the map pack for local SEO? Jason, just hit up Stephen Floyd, ask him. Maybe he would create that video. Ronald, my client is number 14 for the target keyword. If I build small PBN, would it make sense for it to rank within 8 weeks? That really depends on your competition. So there's no real way to say, if it's going to rank within 8 weeks. Okay. And next one. Is siloing a PBN still the best way to structure a PBN, or is using pages okay? It depends. I use posts, I use pages. Most of my PBNs, I want them to be like quote unquote legit real sites. So my PBNs don't even really look like what typical people's PBNs look like. I make them look like real sites. I want them to function, act, and be real sites themselves. So that's precisely what I go for all the time. So that's something that you guys should look for as well. Next one. I have a URL and it matches the money keyword. Looks like I have over optimized. What can I do to de-optimize? Well, if you're just having your URL the same as the money site keyword, that's not going to over optimize it. A bunch of other factors would. So maybe tone down some of your on page, maybe use less of the keyword in anchors, maybe create new anchors that help diversify the anchor text as well. That'll be your best bet. Okay. Let's see. All right. Josh Matthews. When ranking for foreign domains, should we use PBNs with the appropriate country TLD? If you're trying to rank for like google.com.mx, then yeah, you might want to use a lot of those type of PBNs. You don't necessarily need to use all of them for it, but you could use a bunch of them. Okay. All right. Sorry, just skipping a bunch of ones. Looks like I got to the point where everyone started typing in ones to answer everything. Okay. All right, next question. Is there an elite underground way to find cloaked? Ian, there's always a way to find everything. I will not go over how to do that though, sorry. In the intermediate video section area, you have a class on selling PBNs 101. It cuts off at the end. Is that continuing another video elsewhere? I'm not sure where it cuts off. I heard someone say it once before, but they asked the question pretty much, what is it that I was saying at the end on where to resell them? I was pretty much just talking about selling them in, GoDaddy auctions. So hopefully that answers your question. John, I'm kind of lost when it comes to affiliate SEO. Could you explain the process? John, I highly recommend you watch the videos specifically about affiliate SEO. We have plenty of them. And when you have specific questions on affiliate SEO, I'm more than happy to answer them for you, but I'm not going to go over the entire aspect of affiliate SEO right now. Okay, it's a little bit too much. Ryan, why can a domain have a high DA but a low PA? Is this something we should not involve ourselves with? Example, DA 30, PA 1. Okay, so DA 30 means the entire domain, meaning every single page it had on it, doesn't matter. All those aspects of it make this domain a DA 30. A PA 1 is for the specific page you're looking for. So for example, you may have had a site that the home page is a PA 1, but it may have had an older page that has a higher PA. Excuse me. Let me show you an example of what I mean. Now, I don't know if it's necessarily true for my PBN site, but let me just throw it in there and I can kind of show you what I mean, or at least make up an example so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Looks like there's nothing in here, even though you see DA and PA. Let's go to, let me do SourceWave. Okay. So for example, let's go to internal pages. Actually, no, I'm sorry, external. All right, so let me just minimize this. Okay, so all these links are going to the home page. So the PA, that is obviously why the PA is a 48. But if you continued, and I'm not logged in right now, but if you had one that said, sourcewave.com/SEO/301 technique, and that one had a high PA, and the home page had a PA of 1, that's the reason why the DA is high, because that specific page had a bunch of, juice to it, so to speak. So what you could do is install like a simple 301 redirects plugin that redirects that old page that doesn't exist anymore back to your home page to kind of carry all the juice over. Okay. All right, let's go to the next one. All right. How many times should I link to a PBN? How many times should I link a PBN to a money site? Marlon, we answered this question many, many times. Pretty much, like I always recommend, I don't do more than 10 posts. I mean, you could do up to 20. I have sometimes, don't get me wrong. But general rule of thumb, I do up to 10 posts. I do anywhere from 2 to 3 links per post. So each PBN should only link out to a money site like once, but you can technically link out to like 10 to 20 different money sites from one PBN. But you should only link out to that money site from one post, but you can have 2 to 3 links going to that same money site. Okay. Mac, for PBN hosting, do you use any service other than IP networks? Yes, I do, simply because I have so many. I'm not like most other people. I have a little over 2,000 of them. So I have about 200 of them on IP networks. So that's about 10%. So definitely not all of them, but it is a lot more than most other people. Would I put all of them on there? They don't have enough to actually hold all 2,000. But if I had just 200, would I put all 200 up there? No, absolutely not. I would put, anywhere from 10 to maybe 20% of my PBNs and the rest spread them out. It's kind of like the old saying, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. Okay. Dan, I have bought from you good stuff. Oh, thank you very much, Dan. Appreciate it. Anthony, I've sent 10 PBN links over the course of 2 weeks, and my site is going crazy, dancing from 200 plus to page 3. Do I just wait? Yes, Anthony, you should wait. This is commonly referred to as the Google dance. Happens many, many times. It happened with my chiropractor site, which actually, let me just pause the screen. I'll log into Source Hunter and kind of show you what I'm talking about. Okay, let's go to tracking. Oops. Okay. All right, let me share my screen one more time. Okay, great. So as you can see here in Source Hunter, you will see huge like jumps. Then it goes down like here. It was at position 21 from where it was, no, sorry, wrong one. Go up a little bit. There we go. From 27 to 21, then back to 25. Then it dropped down to 26. Now it shot up to 12. So yeah, you're going to see things go up and down, up and down. Even this one went from 11 to when it was 28. Then it went back down a little bit. Then it went back up. Just give it time. It'll keep shooting up and down, shooting up and down. Eventually, it'll stabilize itself. Okay. It looks like we now have 4 in page 1 of Google, which I didn't even know until right now. That is awesome. So looks like that site is doing pretty well from just 3 PBN links. Hooray. All right. Let's move on to the next question. Is there a general rule of thumb how many PBNs you usually have per host account? Like I said, there's no general rule of thumb. You just want to keep things as random as possible. So, just don't keep all your eggs in one basket, like I said before and I keep saying, okay? All right, next one. Social signals, where can we get them from? Not on Fiverr. Chris, if you're referring to like if you wanted your social properties to get blasted, you can actually go to cybermonks.net. That is another service that I have. Me and a fellow person with an OMG, we actually blast social properties. We don't do necessarily social signals, but we blast social properties if that was what you were looking for. Okay. Caesar, if using AMD is a bigger danger of over-optimization, going to come from off-page or on-page? I notice a lot of sites ranking with AMDs use a keyword a lot on-page, and it doesn't seem to be an issue. Simply because since you're using it on-page, you got to be a little bit careful, but at the same time, remember, you're speaking about your own site. The off-page is where you really want to be careful because it's other sites talking about your site, so you just want to be careful with that as well. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Nick, is there a VPN I suggest other than Hide My Ass? I don't use any other one, Nick, like I told you. I use it for a totally different reason than most other people might, so sorry. Austin, do you use H1, H2, H3 headings on most of your money posts? What are the common HTML tweaks you make? I do use sometimes H1, sometimes H2, sometimes H3. I just keep it random. I never do the same for everything. Okay. Let's see. Emiliano, I built a brand new website and got it ranked third page without building links. Is there a way that I can make it to first page without building PBNs? I mean, it's probably on third page already because either the URL structure it has, the on-page SEO you did, which means it's better than most of the other guys, which means it should be pretty much easy competition for you anyway. As far as getting it to first page without PBNs, there are maybe some different ways, but as far as what we teach you guys, it's all about PBNs really. So just go with that. As you can see, it works. So, okay, Blizon. Is your PBN one theme based only? For example, if it's used for dentists, are all your posts related to dentists only? I like to actually have my PBNs themed around overall general niches. So let's say, for example, I did have like a dentist client. I would make it to be about health. Okay. So it would be health related, and then I can throw in dentists, I can throw in a chiropractor, I can throw in anything else because it's health related. So it doesn't just limit me to one thing. Henry, I've bought a couple of PBNs. Turns out they have manual penalties on them, pure spam. Google Webmaster Tools. Is there any way for checking the PBN for penalties before I buy them? If it's auction you're purchasing them, then you definitely want to do the site command option in Google. So that's to check if they're indexed. So you do something like site bmw.com without the www. And you'll do that and it should come up as like the first result. If it doesn't, it could have some kind of penalty in it. If it doesn't show up at all, it's been de-indexed. So that's one way you can check. If it's something that you're picking up like it's a deleted domain or something, then no. Okay. All right, 1 second. All right, next one. All right, I'll answer two more and then I'll have Derek jump on. John, you're asking the same question again about affiliate SEO. Just like I said, please watch the videos. I'm not going to go over how affiliate SEO works from start to finish. Sorry. Okay. Austin, will the 5 new video classes be available on SourceU today? Becker is the one who actually uploads them. We send them to him and his team, the rest of the team get it up there. But to be honest with you, Austin, I've seen this question a few times and it's a little puzzling to me because my whole thing is if you've watched all the videos, mind you, we have plenty of videos in there right now. So if you've watched all the videos and you've learned from them and you've implemented what we've taught you so far, you really wouldn't even be concerned with the 5 new videos because you should be making at least 4 to 5 figures per month if you're actually doing everything that we taught. So I recommend mastering all those things we teach you first before even looking at newer videos, if that makes sense. Because all the new videos that we created, and myself specifically, it builds upon other stuff that we've taught you before. So that's like saying, you walk into a dealership and instead of taking it for a test drive, you just want to buy it right away. Like you want to make sure you understand everything about what you're getting yourself into first. Okay. Now, if you have watched all the videos, you've implemented all of them and everything, and you're waiting for the new 5, congratulations. You're further ahead than most other people. We'll just wait and see until it finally does get uploaded. But we did turn them in. Okay. Let's see. Next question. All right, sorry about that. If our site got hit by Panda and we edited it to repair it, how long does it take to recover from the penalty after we fix our site? You should submit a reconsideration request in Google Webmaster Tools again. As far as how long, it really depends on how long it takes someone to take a look at it. Blizon, do you write content for all of your PBNs every single month? I don't. Like I've said in many different videos, I am absolutely terrible at writing. I don't like writing. I use iWriter for everything. So I will send that to you guys too. I use iWriter to write all of my articles. Some of you guys will use, freelancers and other stuff like that. But yeah, I'm not the best writer in the world. So that's what I use. I use iWriter. So there you go. Okay. And then I'll answer one last question before I have our distinguished guest jump on. Give me 1 second to make sure I get like a pretty good one. Um, John, there is another PBN reseller trying to sell me some PBN stuff. Should I buy? John, that's totally up to you. I mean, it really depends. Can't tell you who to buy and not to buy from. If you feel they're honorable, then go for it. Anthony, should I keep building links while my site is dancing or just wait? You can definitely keep building links, just do it a little bit slower. So take that on, okay? Alrighty. Let me just see if Derek is ready. Derek, are you there by chance? Let me just unmute you. There we go.
Yep.
Oh,
Hear me?
perfect.
Yep.
Yes, awesome. So before Derek jumps on, let me just give you guys a quick intro of Derek in case you are not aware of him. Like I said at the beginning before he joined us, he's a very, very good friend of mine, Cotton, and many other people that you guys know. Derek is a complete ninja and SEO wizard when it comes to a whole lot of aspects of SEO. I wish I knew most of the things that he knows when it comes to SEO. He's amazing at it. So he's going to share some amazing, mind-blowing things with you guys. That's, like I said before, it's going to help take your SEO to the next level of where you are currently. And he's going to show you some pretty amazing stuff that once he showed it to me the first time, I was like, wow, this is just insane. So I'm really looking forward to you guys learning it and, just seeing how you guys use this information he teaches you moving forward. Okay?
Cool. Do you mind making me an organizer
Oh,
so I
yeah.
can see questions?
Absolutely. I'm sorry. I did panelists, didn't I? There we go. Okay, and just let me know when you're ready to become a presenter, and then you can share your screen.
Okay. Change presenter.
And then Derek, since I obviously live in New York City, sometimes it's a bit loud outside, so I'll just mute myself while you're talking, but I'm listening the whole time, so I'll just unmute myself in case you need me for anything.
All right. Can everyone see my screen? Just a few people say, give me a 1 if you can see it. 1. Okay. Just a blank screen. All right. So, I got a 301. All right. So today I wanted to kind of talk about something that's, oh, what's this? Waiting or deny. I don't know what that was. All right. So something I want to talk to you guys about today is it's a little bit of it was in the last update, and not many people are talking about it. It's just kind of been rolling out, and not many even talk about it at all. Just a few of us. And what it is actually when you're planning out your anchor text and your actual link building strategy, there's a search query to anchor text ratio that you kind of have to follow now. And a lot of people, I'm sure most of you guys are doing local or even like really small niches, and this kind of stuff comes really into play. One of the biggest things is adding a geo modifier, which is, like say, if we're doing, someone give me a niche. Let's do maybe like chiropractor or something like that. Okay, so they were doing like Seattle, right? And a lot of the times, this is what we're going to start building our anchor text around, right? We're going to be like chiropractor Seattle. They're going to, flip it around, Seattle, chiropractor, etc., right? And one of the problems with this is that adding geo modifiers on them, it's going to greatly decrease the amount of times you can use that anchor text. Is it bigger font? Okay, hang on. Is that good? Font's good, yeah? Okay. All right. Not used to, I got like a 28-inch monitor, so everything looks big on here. All right, so what we can do is, what I do in my anchor text when I actually plan it out, and the reason I plan it out is because I usually can rank with a tenth of the amount of links that most people can do. So a lot of people in local niches, I'll look at their site, and they got like a DA 30, and they got Trustful 30, and they got 500, 600 links coming to something, and then they're still just ranking bottom of page 2 or page 1 and the top of page 2, and they just can't really get past that point, right? And you take a look at the anchor text, and they have, for example, the Seattle chiropractor one is they have lots of these geo-modified terms, right? So they have Seattle chiropractor, Seattle chiropractor near me, you know, Seattle chiropractor adjustments. You know, this is how people usually do their anchor text, you know, building out the long tails. And what I've done, and a lot of other people have done, is just completely stripped out the geo modifiers, okay? So you can basically rank any local website or any even national stuff with that without using geo modifiers, okay? So does anyone ever heard of anything like this? Just give me a yes if you heard it. No, some yes. Not yet. Okay, it's new. Thought about it. All right. Okay, so like, why do we even think like this? Well, first of all, the page that you're gonna say, if you guys use a lot of PBNs, okay? So if you're doing a PBN, and it's going back to small again. Okay, so your PBN link is going to have a geo-modified title, and it's going to have the content's going to be geo-modified, right? Google has no, yeah, it's moving more to branding, but it's also looking at things like this. Okay, so let me go to my email. All right, so this is kind of how I start my anchor text planning. And so I usually just go right into chiropractor. So like chiropractor, and this is just like the first step or something we do here. Well, we don't want Australia. All right. Okay, so what you can see here, this is just like the overall monthly searches. Okay, so you have 1.259 thousands of searches, right? So 1.2 million searches, and so it makes a lot more sense that if, let me see if this is going to load here. It's going to make a lot more sense if a site is going to be have anchor text that is going to be just chiropractor based, but not necessarily with the Seattle in it, and that's going to give you a lot more flexibility. Yeah, sometimes you can use the geo term, so it's just taking forever loading. That's great. Okay, here we go. So the actual term chiropractor gets 301,000 searches a month. So what I usually do is I'll just use these kind of terms, and I kind of skip anything that has less than usually 1,000 is what I usually do. Okay, so I won't use anything like even local chiropractor. I'll use that maybe once in my anchor text profile, but I won't use it really ever again. Okay, so yeah. Okay, I'll come to the questions in a bit. And the main strategy behind this is you can use this term chiropractor, which gets 301,000 searches, and the relevance is going to be passed from the on-page optimization. Okay, so if we're doing this, this PBN post, you know, it's going to be about Seattle chiropractors, and your money site is going to be about Seattle chiropractors, right? So what is the relevance of what's the importance of why would you even want to do like Seattle Chiropractor as a link, right? It's it's like saying you're shopping around town, whatever, and you're in your phone. You're just gonna plop in chiropractor, right? You're not gonna put Seattle Chiropractor in, right? So when we're talking mentions, this is all relative, right? This is a post about Seattle chiropractors, and this is a site about Seattle chiropractors. So why don't we just use the word, chiropractor, right? So this also allows us to use a lot more anchor text, okay? So let's see, let's go back to this screen. Because I mean, if we go Seattle, right away, we're at 480. This doesn't even meet my requirements of 1,000 searches a month to even use this as an anchor text. So that's why I don't use this at all. And I have case studies after case studies right now that rank just without even using the word, the city modifier at all. Okay, and the times I do use the modifier is going to be stuff like this, like travel. All right, so when people are talking about traveling, we're not going to just type in hotel, right? We're going to type in, like San Francisco hotels, right? So this is going to make sense that we can use the anchor text for a geomodifying term, right? So does this make sense to anyone, or is it kind of confusing? Give me a 1 if it's kind of clear, 2 if you're still kind of lost. All right, okay, still some 2s. All right, so I use travel as an example because what do you do when you go to Google, right? You're gonna go, I'm looking for a place to stay, and I want a place in San Francisco, hotels, right? So San Francisco hotels, San Francisco, I did airports, So if we're trying to rank for, like, say, like a parking lot, that's the kind of term we can use for our anchor text, right? So, but for Seattle, what I'm going to do for chiropractors is basically strip out all these geomodifiers, because for me, these are all too low, okay? So, and I still track them like this, right? I'll put, in my tracker, I'll put Seattle Chiropractor, but I also do for tracking, and most people don't even think about this. You put, like, say, if you're using microsite masters, okay, they have the ability, and a lot of them have the ability to track from actual locations. And usually now I just put, if the term we're doing is chiropractor, I'll just put that term in there, and I'll just make sure it's searching from Seattle. Okay, and then what's going to happen is you're going to rank a lot faster for this term, and usually it's going to rank for the term without even the geo modifier. Okay, so it's going to work. So a lot of times I have a lot of local sites from clients and stuff like that, and I go, okay, so how are you ranking? And they're like, well, we're number 8 for Seattle chiropractor, and I'm like, well, how are you ranking for just chiropractor from Seattle? And they're like, oh, and you look, and it's like page 3. It's like, so, and then they're having problems getting into the map back, and it's also, well, let's see, how about we do some links, just generic chiropractor type terms, and the LSIs as well, and I'll send in, 2 links. Their portfolios just completely jump from page 3 to page 1, and it also drags. This is also going to give you credit, for all those Seattle chiropractor anchor text that you're struggling to get on page 1. So this is usually, in most of my cases, it can be stuck on page 2, and then all of a sudden, this one also jumps up to page 1. So this is going to boost both your anchor text for this and this, right? And it's going to give you more credit. And the main thing is we're trying to avoid penalties, because this is natural looking, okay? So this is, people are going to link to your site more with chiropractor stuff, right? They're going to link, they're not going to be like, oh, this whatever chiropractor in Seattle. They're not going to really link to that. They're going to be like, this is a local chiropractor, okay? The times I do use like Seattle, it's going to be like Seattle office, you know, Seattle locations. We're going to do, you know, the brand name, and then I might do Seattle. But I don't ever mix these two together anymore like this, okay? All right, so, and this is how I've been able to rank sites a lot faster, okay? So we can also do this. It's the same strategy we do with long tail keywords. So let's say, what do you think of a niche? Does anyone have a niche you want to do? Maybe something that's microsite, okay, landscaping, guitar lessons. Okay, yeah, we can do guitar lessons. Yeah, tree service. You can, well, it's okay. Let's do one that's like maybe national. So national something. If we're trying to rank for guitar lessons, that'd be a good idea. All right. Oh, okay. Well, I'm here. So this is where I usually go to the ad group ideas, and this is a lot of the times where I'll just grab my anchor text. Okay, so this is going to be a lot of your LSI kind of stuff. So doctor is going to be a good LSI. Chiropractic clinic, because the group of the keywords, these are all, usually if you just build this one link, you can rank for all these terms in here just by using on-page optimization, okay? And that's not just on-page optimization of your money site, but in your PBN posts or you guys aren't doing, or Web 2.0s, anything like that, okay? So pain, Seattle, this is going to be, it's just cutting the wire, but I might use that once. It's going to be an LSI. Near Seattle, it's going to help you with tying into the localness. What else? Chiropractor neck, yeah. So I usually, most of the time I'm using the ad group ideas as my anchor text planning. And these, because this is what Google really finds relevant. Seattle wellness, I wouldn't use that one, it's only 240, so skip that one. All right, so guitar. All right, so also on the other fact here, before I forget, if chiropractor, I can't remember how much it was getting, but say if it got 200,000 searches a month, and say chiropractor adjustments got 50,000 searches a month. Does it make sense that you could rank, you can use the term chiropractor 4 times as much as chiropractor adjustments? Does that make sense to you guys? Yes, 1, 2, I have 2 if you don't understand. All right, so mostly some 2's coming in. All right, so the reason we can use chiropractor 4 times as much in our anchor text as chiropractor adjustments is because the monthly search volume is 4 times as much as chiropractor adjustments. Okay, so if the search is getting 200,000 searches a month and adjustments is only getting 50,000 searches a month, so that means that there's 4 times the amount of people that are looking for just chiropractor versus chiropractor adjustments. So in likelihood, of the natural world of the way things are doing, it means that people are going to naturally link to your site 4 times as much with just the term chiropractor. For those people that were confused, does that make more sense now? Okay, makes sense. Okay, good. And this is going to hopefully break a lot of barriers for a lot of people, because most people, when they're doing, they're trying to avoid the penalty, right? And so they're just doing, long tail, long tail, long tail, just to keep the changing. You can yes, as anchor text. You can use it as 4 times as much as anchor text. So for example, if this was SeattleChiro.com, right? We would have, first of all, you're going to have a lot of your branded anchor text, right? So we're going to have, let's do it. This is SeattleChiropractor.com. So we're going to build, a lot of our links are going to be a lot like this. So if we did maybe, say if we had 100 links total, we might do 20 of these 20 times, which is quite a lot, but you can play it safe if you want. Seattle, Chiro, which is going to be, it's an EMD sort of, but it's not quite a full search or a full EMD. So I usually might go light on that one just because it has the word Seattle in there. Okay, so I might use that 5 times. You might do, we'll just skip down to these ones, chiropractor. All right, so if we use this one 10 times, let's make it easy math for me. 8 times, we can use chiropractor adjustments 2 times. All right, and then you're going to mix in your LSIs. You're going to mix in some local Seattle office, Seattle location. All right, so get some generics like website, click here, etc. All right, how many times? Let's see. Yeah, so we're using the global search volume, and that's why I don't use the geo modifiers on them, because right away, if I start doing geo modifiers in anchor text, I'm going to blow through that ratio way too fast, and it's very hard to justify a site having 200-300 links when it's a local site for a local small term, and they're really highly optimized for their actual area, and it's just unnatural, and it's very hard to get onto page 1. What do I mean by using it that many times? So this is, say, like my anchor text profile for, like, if you're looking at Majestic, this would be 20 times in a over 20 PBNs. This might be my second anchor text, up to 5 times. This would be, I use this 8 times in a post. This would be 2 times in a post. These will be all different posts. Sometimes, a lot of times you'll mix a branded one with a money keyword one. Usually if they're different, trying to rank different URLs, right? So a lot of the local sites are just ranking the homepage. So
does everyone kind of understand pretty much what Derek is showing? Like, he's pretty much showing there's various different ways and good ways to get your anchor text diversified. So, for example, like he showed, SeattleChiro.com, it's not an EMD, it's a partial match domain. So he's showing you different ways where you're still able to rank without necessarily always using the geo modifier. That way you could still rank locally.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like I was kind of saying that I don't even need to use the geo modifier
Yeah.
at all. And we're gonna,
Exactly.
yeah, so the way we rank is mostly just by the optimizing of the PBN post. So the PBN post is going
Hmm.
to talk about Seattle chiropractors. It's going to give you co-citations to some other local chiropractors. Like,
Hmm.
usually when we rank, we're gonna or we're recommending a chiropractor. We're not gonna just be like, oh, we recommend this one. We usually recommend, if you're in the area, this doctor's really good. This doctor's also really good,
Hmm.
right? And so from there, we're using just the geo-specific terms on the page to change the topic of the page to specific. I can't even say that word. Specifically,
Hmm.
just Seattle. Okay, so and therefore we don't really need it
Yeah,
to use
exactly.
the right. And then so doing this method, you can rank with at least half the amount of links.
Yeah,
All right,
and that's
so
pretty much the big takeaway, right? Like you're trying to show everyone you don't need as many links as your competition's using because if you do it this way, which is smart, you're able to
yeah,
rank not only just higher than them and quicker than them, but you're able to rank smarter than them, which is going to be more long term.
yeah,
Gonna,
exactly.
yeah,
And you have to think it's natural conversation. We don't
exactly.
when we talk to people, we're down the street. We're not going to say, "Hey, did you go check out that Winnipeg restaurant?"
Yeah,
It's like, no, I just checked out the
check out
Italian
the
restaurant.
restaurant. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like exactly. So,
So to answer a quick question that I see someone put in there, Lloyd's pretty much just asking, what if a year from now the volume drops or doubles? Does this concept still hold up? Lloyd, this is kind of the question that, Becker and myself and Steven kind of answer to you guys all the time. Like, don't worry about what happens a year from now. SEO changes so much that it may look completely different a year from now. So to try to
yeah,
analyze if this is going to work a year from now,
yeah,
I mean,
you're
it's
not
good to
really,
kind of know, but at the end of the day, it works now. And
and you're
this is
not
what you
really
want.
worried about that
Yeah.
because that's even next week. So, I mean, this is kind of like your quota almost for a month. So, like
Exactly.
the biggest the biggest issue is people ranking with power tools like GSA and all this
Hmm.
other stuff, right?
Yeah.
And because you're sending 10,000 links to a website and they have these geo specific terms or they're just really long tail that no one ever searches for, um, it just looks unnatural, right?
Exactly.
It doesn't make sense to be ranking or linking for that, and that's why a lot of these people ranking with power tool or power software or whatever it is, they're just having issues doing it because it's the way they're selecting their anchor text. Okay, so
Exactly.
um,
And this pretty much they're not really doing it long term. It's more of a short term thing than anything with the way
yeah,
they're doing
it's
it.
yeah, and so don't worry about what your search volume is for next month because the link has already been dropped. Okay, so it's what you built this month. So it's why saying if you had this local site, a Seattle chiropractor, there's no way in the world that a Seattle chiropractor would gain 2,000 links in a month. Does
Exactly.
not make sense, right? If it's a national campaign for the presidential elections, they can build 2,000 search links in a day, right?
Yeah.
And so that makes a lot more sense, right?
Exactly.
So that's why you have to justify the search volume with what you're targeting, okay?
Exactly. So hopefully that makes sense to everyone. Now, I know usually we end the webinar always on time and it's about to be 9, but I really wanted to know if anyone is interested in Derek showing you one last top secret ninja thing where I had mentioned before he can kind of show you how to get some backlinks from Google. I know Derek said it takes about 10 minutes to show you. So if you guys are still interested in staying on, can you just throw a 2 into the chat box? Okay, I see a whole bunch of
Yeah.
yeses, please. I see please like a million times, Derek. So looks like everyone is super excited about that. You think maybe you could dive into that for us? Do you mind sticking around another 10 minutes?
Oh yeah, no problem. I
All
mean,
right, great.
people usually will sit and listen for like 6 hours. All right, so I guess we won't have time for the guitar lessons. And all right, so I'm gonna show you guys how to do one little cool thing for maps. Or okay, you go google.com/my maps. All right, and this is there's a few places in Google you can get a follow link from, but this one I love because of local, and this is going to help you rank your
Now, Now, did
Both
you just say
sites.
do follow backlink, Derek?
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
guys understand that? It's a do follow backlink from Google. It's not a no follow like, the Google Plus shares. It's a do follow backlink. Like, this is huge.
Yep. All right. So you're gonna come over here and you're gonna create a new map. All right. So you have to understand, a lot of people, some people know this and some people don't, but this is my maps. So this is actually, it's using the actual map engine, but it's a custom map that only, it's not going to plop you onto, Google Places or whatever like that, right? This is a map you can create, you can share it, you can even rank it, all right? And so it's a really good property to use in your local rankings, guys. So some reason, I guess it's because I'm hosting the webinar right now. It makes everything slower, right? What is that? Didn't look correct. Okay, here we go. All right, so let's, for example, we're doing our Seattle chiropractor guy. Okay, so what I usually do is I change the title of the map, and I'll usually do Seattle practor, and usually Dr. whatever Ortiz. All right, and let's find maybe just a location in Seattle. Let's build this guy a free citation. All right, this guy's slacking a little bit, so we'll use him as our bait. All right, this is kind of what I usually do.
That guy is going to love you forever.
And yeah, he's gonna be like, "What the heck? My rankings tanked." All right, so what you can do is actually stick your NAP in your name, address, place, or phone number, and you can come in here, grab your link, HTTP. Make sure there's a HTTP in here. All right, and then what I usually do is I'll put an article in here or something, just like 350 words, whatever. You don't have to, but it helps for getting indexed, and it's going to help if you're trying to rank it, which I recommend you doing. Doing an article here is going to get a lot of your keywords in there. You can also put your citations. You can put some of your Yelps, Yelp.com, whatever your citation is. You can even put your YouTube, or kind of make a mini stack of cool stuff in there. All right. And let's see, where is his address? Right here. And let's see if we can find him on the map. I need his address. Dr. Oh, they got a few of them. Which one is this? I think that's the same one. Well, it will be nice. He's got multiple locations, so we'll do multiple. I think that's the only two he's got. All right, so add a layer. Change this. I usually put my secondary keyword in here. Let's do Kyr. I usually tend to do, one's going to be one with the geo modifier, which is Seattle, and then the second one, I just kind of use a longer tail, but I'll just skip the modifier in there. Okay, and then what we do from there is go to share. This is the important part because it's not going to get indexed by Google unless you actually share it. Okay, so right now it's set as private, and you can change this and onto the web, and you can save it. And they're going to give you a URL here. All right, and this is not the one you want to build links to, okay? So what you got to do is come over to a new window or just log out, and it's going to flip-flop on you. It went from reader to viewer. All right, and then this is the actual URL you can send links to. Or sometimes it strips it out to here sometimes, but you can send link to this one if you want. And from here, you got a citation because this counts. And what do we got here? We got a link, 2 links. Back over here. Just because I have the no follow thing on here. All right, see, like this highlights no follows. Okay, it's not doing anything. Okay, so and it also shows up in your Google Webmaster Tools, so I know for a fact it's a proper link, right? And what you can do is actually go to Fiverr if you want to go crazy. And there is, since I kind of talked about this a little while ago, there's a couple more people building services about it. I don't know if it's directly related to that or not, but it might be. Local map called Map Citations. All right, so these are all, yeah, so when I first started doing this, there was no one doing it, and then I got one guy to do it. And now there is like a whole, maybe this one. These are all map citations, okay? So you can actually get them to build out, 30 of these for you, and they're going to use different accounts, and you're going to keep changing your keyword into the title. So you just keep different keywords, and with that way you can get better ranking or indexing, right? Because the way Google works is they don't like having 2 of the same thing indexed for the same terms, right? So, or at least on page 1. So a lot of times you'll get one that's going to rank, and then the other one's going to get kicked out, right? So that's why if you use different terms, like so one's going to be Seattle chiropractor, one's going to be chiropractor adjustments, one's going to be Seattle spinal adjustments, one's going to be, you're going to use your LSI keywords, right? And you're going to keep doing that. And each one is going to count as a citation. And I've seen this skyrocket map rankings and map pack rankings very well. And also, if you send a little juice to it, like start sending PBNs to it, it's going to push your rankings up in organic, and which is also going to affect your map pack rankings as well. So any questions on that? I can stick around and answer some questions unless you guys want to get out of here. Unless I'm talking to myself now. When using Fiverr, are you going to put the same information? I'll put the same. I put the different keywords in there, and you can use the same business description. Like, so you can do the same way you do your citations. Like, say if you're using Yext or something like that, you can. Google has stated, or at least Matt Cutts has stated, that citations, the business description, does not count as duplicate content. So you can use that same description over and over again. But when it comes to ranking, you're going to have to use a different title on each one, so that doesn't get the SERPs all making messy. So you want to have, GSA, or, you can. I wouldn't GSA them, just because it is a do follow link. So I usually use clean linking. I'll use some other Web 2.0s, like I'll throw a Tumblr link at it or something like that, or some social signals. I know you guys like that, social blasts. For multiple, you can do, for multiple businesses, you can list all your locations you can say, how I pinned multiple locations on here, right? But you can also do, what you can do is make multiple maps, and then you can link this map to the other location. So you can link this one, say, okay, we also have our other location at whatever 2116 on maybe not Pine, East Elm Street or something, right? So you can link them together, and the way Google is pretty cool is they allow on the same platform you can have links to the same platform over and over again. Okay, so it's kind of like link building within your own site, right? So can you link maps to inner pages as well? Yeah, you can do it in inner pages. You can do, I've done one where I had 50 links to one money site. What about clients or service providers that? Yeah, even if they don't have an address, you can still use this as a property. Okay, so you can also just try to rank it, right? You can still use it as, you know, a Yelp listing, basically, right? And you can, doesn't necessarily have to be, like I work out of my home and I'm still in the map, right? And then all you do is, when you're doing your Google My Business setup, all you do is make sure that you don't serve people at your home or at your location, and so it just, you're on the map pack, it won't show your location. That's the only difference. That's the past Google guidelines. Okay, so there's just a checkbox, and that's all you have to do. Is, so a lot of, you know, people I deal with, like, you know, plumbers and stuff like that, they don't actually serve customers at their place of business, so they have to check that box. How many of these can you make per Google account? I can, as long as I'm using different keywords and different sites, sky's the limit, really. So I like the Fiverr, because if I'm going to build a whole bunch of citations to the same property, I'm gonna want different Google accounts, and that's kind of where Fiverr comes in.
Right, and Derek.
Yeah, in service area, yeah, it'll show up in Yellow Pages, but you can also do just a lot of Yellow Pages. I'm not sure 100% with them, but in some citations like Yelp, you can actually not show your address. But that's only if you're worried about people showing up to your house. It's not about terms of service. Any other questions?
Like that was the last question. I just also, I would like everyone, if you could, since Derek can see the questions, obviously, if you could just give him a thank you, if you at least appreciated all the information that he just, you know, gave us. I mean, he gave us for his free time. He's not getting paid for anything. You know, he's just dedicating his time to help you guys learn more and take your SEO to the next level. So if you guys could just please give him a thank you.
Yeah, you guys are welcome.
Tons of thank yous. There is one last thing though, Derek, that I did want to ask you. So I know personally from speaking with you and working with you and everything else in the past, you're able to get a specific link that most people are not able to, correct?
Yeah, I offer a service if you guys want to kind of check it out. Who likes Wikipedia links here? Anyone? No? I guess. All right. Yes, I see lots. Okay. Well, the cool thing about, I own this service called Got Wikipedia, right? And there's a little bit of competition out for us, but we're pretty much the only white hat service for this, and we're the only ones that give you a 6-month guarantee on your links. Okay, so we don't just, there's some places that are like, oh, you know, it may pay like $50 for a Wikipedia link, but it's on an irrelevant page and it fell off 2 days later. Oh, great, good for you. But what we actually do is we actually write content for a lot of your site, most of the money sites, and then we actually we deal with other moderators, we deal with editors, we deal with a lot of people, and so the links that we put on Wikipedia, they're actually adding value to Wikipedia. The articles, we're actually rewriting parts of the article on Wikipedia. We're making sure your site's going to match up perfectly. People are going to come see that link on there and they're going to be like, well, I want to know more about this, and you're going to get lots of traffic from Wikipedia. And not to mention that yeah, I'll drop some links in here for you guys. Wikipedia has skyrocketed a lot of rankings for a lot of clients. There's a lot of trust flow coming from Wikipedia. Even though it's a no-follow, Google decides whether or not they're going to trust the site, right? So it's not like a no-follow link on a WordPress comment, right? It's not the same thing. Or all the links on Wikipedia are no-follow. So it looks at them, it trusts those. It's going to boost your rankings. It's going to bring you a lot of traffic from Wikipedia. Is a very busy site. Most people don't even realize that. Even some of these long tail kind of rankings that they have, they get still quite a lot of traffic. Okay, so you can come over here. We do a free quote for you guys. It is a white hat service, so it's not going to be hurting your money site. It's not going to it's going to take a little bit longer than a black hat service, obviously, because we're not just scraping them and trying to give you a 301 or using broken link methods, which, all those things are great, but they don't last. They last about, on average, a month, and then they're taken down. So yeah, you can use this for your client SEO. It's people love this for the clients. Okay, so they, it's like, what did you guys get accomplished today? Well, you know what? You're in Wikipedia now. They're like, wow, that's awesome. I'm like, because you know what? Wikipedia ranks for everything, right? And what is your number one competition for your keyword usually? Wikipedia, It's like, and so we usually try and get on this. If you can, now you have 2 spots on that page 1, right? You're on Wikipedia page, and then you also get your listing, right? So what happens is because the 2 are connected, and by association, it brings your site up, okay? And I think that's pretty dang cool. Oh, I did that too, just us. Okay, here we go. Got wikipedia.com. You guys got the link there?
Yeah.
So our average link, just in case you're just throwing 100 sites in there, our average quote's about between $200 to $230, just because we put about almost 6 hours to 8 hours of labor into each one of these to get them to stick. And so it's not, it's not the cheapest service, but it's the highest quality service. So,
And plus, you also
guaranteeing for 6 months is not easy to do, and that's why we're.
That's one.
Yeah, that's the reason. We monitor our link. Most of our 98% of our links from last 4 years are still up. Yeah. Oh yeah. I've seen people sell these links for. I mean, if you think about, to get into, let's see, what's one that a lot of people are trying to get? Huffington Post. That goes from either $2,000 to $5,000 to post. So, and Wikipedia is a lot more trusted than Huffington Post. So it's all about, how you're looking at it.
All right.
Even a good PBN can be $500, right? It's
exactly, and this is trusted in Google's eyes at the beginning, which everyone knows. So
Google is the seed site of, like, how Majestic is using seed sites to originate trust flow. Wikipedia is like the home of that.
Yeah, exactly. So I just wanted to personally thank Derek once again for this. This was an amazing webinar. Hopefully you guys got tons and tons of value on it. I'm going to be sending the recording over to Becker. He usually gets it up within a week, so you guys are able to watch the recording again. And once again, if you appreciated everything Derek brought to the table, please make sure to just give him a thank you in the chat box. Feel free as well to just shout him out in the Facebook group as well. And once again, if you do want those Wikipedia links, just go to gotwikipedia.com, where Derek manages all of that, takes care of it. He has his team do it. I personally have used the service before, and it's absolutely amazing. And I'm more than happy to actually have him come on here and share all this amazing information with you. So thank you very much, Derek. Thank you very, very much. You have any last words?
Yeah, I mean, feel free to add me on Facebook if you have questions. Just make sure you add me first so I can actually see the message, and then that's about it.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks so much, Derek. And guys, thank you very, very much. I will have this replay sent over to Becker and hopefully uploaded very, very soon. Have a great morning, depending where you're located. And thanks again.
Have a good night.
Thanks.